Greetings and welcome back to Friday 13th YouTube channel. Today you're going to be watching a interview with the band Night Demon. This was conducted by vocalist Jarvis, who are about to release their new album on Century Media Records called Outsider. It's a great album, a fantastic addition to the previous albums, so check it out, metalheads. Please leave some comments, let me know what you think of the interview, and more interviews will be coming soon. Thanks for watching, be safe. Stay metal, metalheads. Thanks then, Jarvis. So, this is the first interview we've done. Like I say, welcome to Friday 13th. So, I'm going to ask you some warm-up questions first. I believe you was formed back in 2011.
Correct.
Yeah. So, is it Ventura, California?
Right.
Yeah. So, how did you hook up with the guys? Was you all at school together before you came together?
No, like with the original lineup, we were just kind of friends. I played in a Black Sabbath tribute called Warning, and our one of our roadies was a drummer, and we were kind of both into the n.w.o.b.h.m stuff, and our guitar player was as well. And it was just the idea was just to start a n.w.o.b.h.m style band and record a 4-song 7-inch, and that was it. And that's what we did. And we didn't play together for probably another year and a half after that. So the band, although we formed in 2011, we weren't really a band yet, you know.
Okay, then. So, who are your influences being a bass player? Who's inspired you? And vocalists as well. Which ones have
My
inspired you?
my style's a cross between like Geezer Butler, Steve Harris, Lemmy, Cliff Burton, and Phil Lynott. Those five put together is like pretty much exactly my sound and my style. Yeah.
What about vocalists?
I really like Sean Harris from Diamond Head, Paul Merrill, Jaguar on the Power Games record, Paul Rogers. I'm really into the more kind of soulful singers. Those are some of the off the top of my head, the ones that I identify with the most.
I'm going to say to you, with you being a bass player and singer, would you say Glenn Hughes is an inspiration?
Big time. Glenn Hughes is one of my favorite singers of all time. The Seventh Star album he did with Sabbath is one
Yeah.
of the great unsung heroes. I love that record. I like his solo stuff. I like the stuff he did with Purple. I like the Black Country Communion, California Redemption, or whatever that band is. Like he's got everything he does. I enjoy even the Dead Daisy stuff. I mean, anytime he gets behind the mic, there's some kind of magic happens, man. He's just incredible. He's a phenomenal vocalist, you
I've
know.
actually, I've actually watched him at rehearsal, sound check, and I've actually seen him scream without a microphone. It just sounds like in a venue. It's like holy shit, there's no microphone, and that guy is powerful.
It's crazy to me, man. Like I can't even really look at him as a bass player because the vocals are just so good, you know.
Yeah. So what other new musicians like New Wave of British heavy metal? Were you influenced by bands like Tigers of Pantang, Gillan, Witchfinder General, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. All those bands you mentioned. Cool thing is like about that scene is like there's so many. I think if the bands weren't punk and they weren't stadium rock, they were kind of lumped into that scene. So you basically get a lot of different kind of sounds from that. Like, you know, obviously Venom sounds much different than Witchfinder General or Tigers of Pantang, but I mean, they're all equally as cool to me, you know. I just love the just that era of music coming out of Great Britain is it's really good stuff, man. Even the punk stuff. I mean, I like a lot of that stuff, and the you know, it's all good for me, man.
No, I wasn't actually into the punk scene. I was more into the New York hardcore scene, like the Cro-Mags and all that, Ludacris, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, okay, but like if you were into that, you had to be into some of the D beat bands like Discharge and stuff, right? Or some of the right. I
Actually, I
mean,
wasn't. I wasn't. I just kind of got. Oh, some friends of mine just got me into Cro-Mags and agnostic front and shit, and that was it.
that's okay. So like the Bad Brains too. Are you into the
Yeah,
Bad
yeah. I've
Brains?
seen. I actually interviewed them many years ago.
Cool.
They're a cool band to watch live, man. They're kind of cross between the reggae and then the punk and that. It's like, whoa, holy shit.
Yeah, them a couple times. Yeah, so that's
So,
cool.
what age did you start playing the bass guitar, and what was your first bass?
I played when I was in my 20s. I was a guitar player before, but I had joined a band that needed a bass player. And that's kind of like when I found my identity because I was a pretty good guitar player, but there's so much competition in that world, you know. And when I started playing bass, I was like, man, there's so much it's like you think it's easier because there's less strings, but there's a lot of different things to learn about playing bass and being a solid rhythm player and worrying about the technique of your picking hand or your fingering hand instead of the fretboard hand, right? So um it's I really found myself when I started playing bass. And I my first bass was a 1966 Fender P bass. I bought a vintage bass, and I was like, I worked at a music shop at the time, so I got like $2,000 off of it. It was still cost me $2,000, but it was like $4,000 bass. So I love that thing, man, and I beat the shit out of it and took it on tour for years, and that's great.
So you don't own it anymore then?
No, I ended up selling it. I was just like, I just play Flying V's now. That's it.
Didn't you
So
ever think of just keeping it because you've kind of made it now, just to say this is what started it for me?
no, like, I mean, you always kind of like wish you wouldn't have sold things or whatever, but I've sold so much musical gear in my life. I kind of just, now that I have a signature bass by a company, I'm kind of like, well, this is my bass, this is my sound, this is all that matters. Like, it's in a better home for sure. I was really like abusing that thing. Like, it was all original, and you shouldn't be taking it on the road like that to preserve a piece of history like that. So it's in better hands now.
Right then. So what signature make is it you play now for the people that are interested?
Yeah, so it's made by a company called Jailbreak, and it's a Flying V bass with a P bass pickup. So it's basically a P bass in a Flying V body. So
Okay.
yeah,
How long have you been endorsed with those guys?
since 2018.
Okay, that's cool. So is anybody else using these bases, or is it just you?
Not bad. They've just made them for me, but I think next year there's a production model coming out. I think they're only making like 15, but they're all handmade. So
Okay then. So can you remember the very first band you were in? And what was you doing covers, or was you doing your own material?
yeah, I was called a band called Black Opal. I was the guitar player and singer, and we started off doing covers for the first few years, and then branched out into our own stuff. But it was all hard rock and metal.
Right then. So what was your first record you did with their band before Demon Night?
We just did demos.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we just did demos. We were young and like couldn't get it together to make a full length album.
So
So
what did you hook up with the guys for Night Demon then? And how did you come up with the name?
we were trying to come up. 19 was like my 36th band, so like I had already made a lot of mistakes that you should in your youth and in younger bands. And so first thing I wanted a name that had two words and that had the same amount of letters in each word, so that the design schemes would be kind of symmetrical. And then we just wanted a cliche heavy metal name, and that name wasn't taken. And we looked it up and kind of came up with it. At first, it was Night Demon with a K, like a medieval knight, and then we said, well, that's not symmetrical, so let's take the K off, and we'll just. And I go, that name has to have been taken, but it wasn't. So here we are.
I don't know why. For some reason, when I first knew about your band, I thought of the horror film. I think it's Demon.
Night of the Demon.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, when I first saw your
Yeah,
band's name, I was thinking of that horror film for some unknown reason. And I was going to say to you, did it come from that film?
it's Night of the Demons is the horror film. No, it
Yeah.
didn't. But I'm a fan. Of all. There's been two remakes of it too. They're all good. Yeah.
Okay, then. So where did you find Dustin and Armand? Where did you find those guys for the band?
They were in called New Liberty. They're not part of the original lineup. Armand was the producer for us originally. But when that band fizzled out, we slowly got those guys in, and it's been awesome ever since.
Right then. So I mean, you've done quite a few albums, haven't you? Not many people realise that you're quite an old band. You haven't been around for like 2 or 3 years. I mean, you did your first EP, Night Demon, released on Shadow Kingdom Records.
Mhm.
How successful was that for you for an EP?
Pretty great right out of the gate. I think we were the right band at the right time for the old school scene and the new school world. And we just started touring right away. We quit our jobs 10 years ago and just hit the road. We were touring all over the world and doing everything we could to do it. So we dedicated ourselves to it. And that's just the way it happened.
Right then. So was it a successful EP for you? Did it sell well?
I think it's sold about almost 20,000 copies. So that's really good for something that's an independent release. It's been repressed a bunch of times, you know.
Right. I mean, after that, you did Curse of the Damned. I mean, that was released on Century Media. You've also released on Steamhammer in Europe, so it's kind of confusing why you're on two labels. Is there a reason why you're on two labels?
Yeah, we got signed to Steamhammer first, and they just wanted to handle Europe, and Century Media wanted the rest of the world. So it was great for us. I mean, we had two labels competing against each other to do a better job, and we had two sets of publicists, two sets of advertising, and a lot of minds scheming things up, thinking about how we can make this a successful album. So it worked really good, and we were really happy with all the people that we worked with on that.
So, Curse of the Damned, who came up with the title for this album?
I believe I came up with it, and it was kind of based on the story of Solomon Kane. Um, there's a lot of different themes on that record, but yeah, that's we were still kind of in the cliche heavy metal way of thinking at that point, just kind of following in the footsteps of our idols, and kind of trying to do what they did. So that's it's a very throwback type album.
Right. Is there any songs on that album that you particularly like and why?
I like them all because
Right.
they're all. I mean, they're all good. We don't ever write any throwaway songs, like I like. Well, when we there's never any songs left on the table. I'll say that. If we're starting to write something and we don't like it so much, we just kind of like leave it. Leave it be. We don't finish it.
Right. Then he did the next album, which was called Darkness Remains. Who came up with the title? Was that a title that you came up with again?
I believe I did. Yes. Yeah.
Right. What did that album sell even better for you than the first
It
debut album?
did. It did, and it got some great reviews and won the top spot in a lot of different magazine and radio polls and fan polls, which is really important to us. So that's the album that really kind of set us on our course as like a band that's probably going to stick around.
Right, because the next one was a live album, wasn't it? A double live album, Live Darkness. Why did you decide to do an album in your career live at this short time? Was there a reason?
Well, because all of my favorite bands, don't have legitimate live albums from those points in their career. The only thing you can find are shitty bootlegs at best, and you kind of wonder when you weren't there, what did they sound like? What would a great live album sound like from these bands? And so we wanted to kind of break that cycle and have that. And now looking back, that was recorded in 2017. It's already 6 years ago. Like, it's pretty nice to have that. And I still now, when I listen back to it, I'm like, it really captures that moment in time.
Right then, so where was it recorded, this live album?
It was at the Beachland Ballroom in Cleveland, Ohio.
Right, okay. Have you guys actually played Headbangers Open Air Festival
We
before?
have, yeah.
I wasn't.
We have a record selling the most T-shirts at that festival, actually.
What
So
year did you play?
2017.
I wasn't sure if I was there because I know I've seen you guys before, but I haven't seen you with Anvil because I don't believe you've toured the UK with Anvil before, have you?
No, we've done US with them twice.
Yeah, I think I saw you at Headbangers Open Air. I love that festival. It's so small and intimate. It's like probably one of the best festivals out there.
Yeah, it's cool for the fans.
What about the bands?
Uh, I don't want to. It's not fair for me to. Those guys have done a lot of work and they have a loyal fan base, but I won't comment publicly on it.
Okay, that's fine. That's not a problem. So the next one was Year of the Demon that came out in 2022. So how successful was that for you as the third studio album?
Well, it was not the third studio album. We put out five 7-inch singles in 2020,
Right.
and the four of the A sides were original songs. The B sides were all covers. The fifth 7-inch was two Scorpion songs that we recorded live with Uli John Roth. The Year of the Demon album is a compilation of those singles. So
Okay.
our newest record is our third studio album, but that one sold really well considering the songs had already been released. But it did pretty well last year, and it was a way for us to kind of revamp those songs because touring hadn't happened in a couple of years, and we got to go out and tour on them, and people had them kind of all in one place on one LP. So it was nice.
So what were the covers that you did for the people out there? You say the
We,
Scorpions.
we did In Trance and Top of the Bill. and we recorded them live. We headlined a festival in Hamburg called Hell Over Hammerberg, and we had Uli John Roth come out and play those songs with us. So it's a live recording of him playing those songs with us.
Well, he's an awesome guitarist, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the best, man.
Yeah, I mean, he makes the guitar sing like a bird. I've seen him live myself, and I just know how good he is. Fantastic
Yeah.
guitarist. So, you've got the new album about to come out next month, Outsider. Again, is this the title you came up with, or was it a band thing?
I came up with this one. Yeah.
What about the artwork? Who did the artwork for this album? Have you used this guy before?
He's done all of our records. So if you
Right.
look at you look at all of the studio albums, even the Year of the Demon compilation, that's all him. Don Furry.
Right then, so I mean, it kind of reminds me of a King Diamond cover a little bit. Do you kind of agree? The spookiness,
Uh,
the house on the hill.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, he didn't invent that.
No. I mean, looking at the artwork, I mean, it's really interesting cover. How long did it take to do the cover, and what other ideas did you have for the album?
That's it, man. It's based on a concept story, so I guess that is King Diamond in a way, but it's based on a physical location, so that's taken from actual photographs and videos.
Oh, interesting. So, where's it from then originally? What's the
It's
place?
in Donegal. Yeah, it's an old abandoned church with a graveyard and a road that leads up to it.
Right then, did you have any other titles for this album, Jarvis, before Outsider?
No,
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 no.
that's it. No alternate titles. All the songs, of course, had working titles, but no, this is it.
So, are the songs actually wrote as a team effort? Do you write them all together?
For the most part, for the most part, but it's usually somebody will come in with an idea and we'll kind of get together and expand on that.
Right then. So, I mean, you've got 9 songs on this album. How long did it take to record this album, and where was it recorded?
It was recorded at our studio in Ventura, the captain's quarters. Total time it took to record was about 5 days, but we always record live as a band, so we're we're well rehearsed. We don't like spending a lot of time in the studio.
No, cost wise as well, obviously.
Yeah.
So how do you see this new album as a progression from the previous albums?
That's a huge progression. It's a concept record through and through. There's a lot more dynamics and progressive tendencies on this album. It's light years from the last one. Every album is a bit different, but we just didn't want to repeat ourselves. So we've done all the cliche heavy metal stuff. We're really proud of that. But like, there's no need to keep going with that. Those songs still exist, and we still play them live.
Yeah, so how would you describe your music for the people that haven't heard you before? What category would you put yourselves under?
The go listen to it category and decide for yourself.
Okay, fair enough.
It's
So,
heavy metal.
so sorry?
It's heavy metal. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. There's all these different categories, aren't there? There's power metal, speed metal, you
I
know.
can't even count anymore. It's got elements of a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So, but we just like to say we're a heavy metal band.
Yeah, it's a really good album. I've been listening to it. You got like the third song, Odessa, and that's like a really heavy song, up
Okay.
tempo. And
Yeah,
the, and
thank
the
you.
last song as well, The Last Days, that's a really good song. So, I mean, right in the,
That's actually just a bonus track on there. I don't even know why it's in the promo, but yeah, okay. It's not really part of the record, but I'm glad you like it.
so why was it not part of the record, but it's in there? Did you
It's a bonus track for the CD version, so I have no idea why it's there in the promos.
not for the
But
not for the Japanese version?
yeah, that's exactly right. It is going to be on the Japanese version. Yeah.
So when do you think you guys are going to be touring? Are you going to be touring this year? You got any ideas? Have you got any plans?
Oh, we're fully booked. Yeah, we start March 16th. We do a full U.S. tour. From there, we're going to Japan and Australia. We've got a couple UK dates up in the north, and then we're doing a full Ireland tour. We've got about 14 shows this summer in Europe. We've got a full headlining tour of Europe in September. Then we're going to take off October off, and then in November we're going to Mexico, South America, and then do a couple more one-offs in the States. So we've got a full year.
Wow, that's cool. Have you got any festivals planned for this year?
Oh yeah, we've got a bunch. So
Vakken, Bang Your Head Festival.
we're actually doing the Vakken cruise.
Okay, yeah, yeah, okay.
Doing Bang Your Head too. Yeah.
Awesome. So you're very, very busy this year. Are you doing any
Yeah.
promotional videos for this album? Have you got any songs coming out?
Yeah, we've got the song Outsider that's out now. February 23rd, we have a new single called Escape from Beyond. There'll be another video for the focus track the day the album comes out, which is Beyond the Grave. And we'll do a video for The Wrath probably this summer. So yeah, we love to do videos, and well, we don't like doing them, but we 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 like releasing them, and so we'll keep that going.
So the future videos that you just mentioned you're going to be doing, are they lyrical videos or actual videos themselves? Because
No,
I know
yeah,
live, the actual band
yeah,
ones.
videos, yeah.
Because I know a lot of bands do the lyrical ones, don't they? I don't know what you thought of that.
I mean, we've done them before too, and they're cool because like you can immediately get what the song is about. As if you read along, you're like, okay, cool. You don't have to wonder for 5 years and go, oh, I thought that word was this. But I like them both. We've done actually a video before where it's a performance video and a lyric video combined. So, you know,
That's interesting. So when you tour, who's going to be supporting you on these tours?
we're going out with Satan and Haunt for the U.S. tour, and the other ones are just headlining. So,
Satan from Newcastle, Steve Ramsey's band.
yep.
Interesting. So you got some pretty good lineup there. So, Jarvis, I'd like to thank you for doing this interview. I wish you all the best. Have a good
Thanks.
day today. So, do you have anything to say to the people that'll be watching this on YouTube?
Thank you for watching, and thank you for tuning in to Friday the 13th and for supporting this for 30 plus years now. So let's keep it going. And I'm glad there's people out here like you doing this stuff, and keep spreading the good word, and listen to some Night Demon. I think you won't regret it. All right. Thanks, Jason.
Okay, mate. Have a nice day. I'll be in touch and I'll send you this link when it's ready online.
All right. Goodbye.
Cheers, mate. Take care. Cheers.
Cheers.